Hello, everybody. Today, we are doing the wet-ass Pokemon tier list. The WAP tier list. You might ask, Joe, what are we ranking? We're ranking every single water type, top to bottom, S through F. Then you say, Joe, isn't every water type Pokemon wet? You're right, but some of them are more wet than others. And today, we are gonna find out who is the most wet. Let's get it going. Let's get this tier list started with the first ever wet Pokemon. One of the wettest, one of the cutest, the best boy. This man going right to S tier. He's a squirrel and a turtle. He squirts. Doesn't get any better. That's a certified wet-ass Pokemon. Easily S tier. One of the best middle evolutions ever. Is he as good as Squirtle? Probably not. We'll put him A, bordering S. I don't feel like that's too hot of a take. I think Blastoise is actually the worst Pokemon in this line. I don't know if that's a hot take. Squirtle's the best, for sure. I think Mega Blastoise is probably like a C, honestly. They just took the name Blastoise and they made the blast part all capitals. And they were like, that's his Mega Evolution. Psyduck is like B, bordering A. In terms of water types, definitely one of the most famous. So, I mean, that makes him pretty wet. I think Golduck is like D or C. I think this Pokemon's kind of shit. And any Golduck defenders, speak now. Or forever hold your peace, as he's in D tier. Actually, Poliwag's probably a C. I like Poliwhirl better because he's fat. That makes me feel better. We got some fat representation. I don't know. I don't think Poliwrath is like that sick. I wouldn't say he's very wet. You know, he's a fighting type. I mean, it could be sweating in the gym. It doesn't get much wetter than a Pokemon that can cause it to rain just by existing. I love Politoed. He's so cute, man. Defined a generation of competitive battling. Just look at him. Look how angry he is. He's so mad. He's got a bulbous brain. He's gotta go up on the list. He's so wet. Slowpoke, classic wet Pokemon, dude. Just a big, dopey boy. Easily A tier. How much wetter can you get than combining two water-type Pokemons to evolve? You have the Slowpoke out there fishing, dipping this long, luscious tail into the ocean till he gets a nice nibble. An absolutely perfect specimen. In his mega form, though, it's a pretty dumb Pokemon. This shell all around him, not getting wet. This isn't a wet Pokemon. It's getting blocked off. Slowking. I get that, like, he gets the big brain, but is his brain wet? Like, to me, Slowking is more of a psychic type. Literally just a seal named Seal. That's pretty wet. He's cute, but, like, it's very boring. These guys look pretty much exactly the same. There ain't that much going on here. If one's in C tier, the other one's gotta be in C tier too. Got a couple Pokemon here that definitely do some things. Shelter, we got the tongue. I don't think a lot more needs to be said. If he didn't have the tongue, he'd probably be like down here. He's just a clam. But what that tongue do, though? We also have Cloyster. We all know what Cloyster looks like. I'll leave him there. He'll go there. We all understand. It doesn't need to be said. We're moving on. All right, Kingler. Got that claw. You know, when you're packing heat like that, you gotta at least be B tier. Horsey's got the schnoz, you know, to be a Horsey's too innocent, right? Like, it's just a little seahorse. I hate both of these Pokemon. If you want to tell me, oh, look, there's a big fat fish, don't come swinging at Lantern, Pro ZD, all right? Don't come swinging at the fucking best boy. You have this right here. Look how dumb Seaking looks. These Pokemon suck. They're so bad. They're not cool at all. It's just fish. Ooh, I'm a fish with a horn. Go fuck yourself. Stay in F tier. Here is a wet Pokemon. Oh, baby. Rapid Spin me. All Night Star me. Woo! Magikarp. He's gotta be S tier. He's gotta be, right? Like, he's just transcended. Our boy Gyarados. An absolute treasure. A wet-ass Pokemon that can fly? Mega Gyarados, on the other hand, is probably, like, C tier. That mega group of let's just add spikes and stuff to them and that will be cool. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Lapras, the ultimate wet-ass Pokemon. The Pokemon that started it all. Lapras. Look at that smug look. She knows. She knows. Vaporeon's either A or S. You're telling me you can rub a rock on an Eevee and it turns into a mermaid? That's pretty wet. In all honesty, Ammonite is like a B, and Amistar's probably an A. Also, they have Swift Swim, so that's pretty wet. Like, having Swift Swim, making it so you can move faster when it's raining. They have a crunchy exterior. I don't know about you guys, but crunchy exterior, that's what I'm into. My man has scythes for hands. I don't want to tell him he's not wet because he'd probably kill me. So he could go in A tier. Brotodile, best Gen 2 starter. Not the best middle evolution. A little weird, awkward teenage phase. This line is a roller coaster ride. You have an absolute cutie in Totodile. An absolute fantastic design. Then you go to Croconaw. Yikes. And then you come back up. The roller coaster hits another peak. Absolute heights of Feraligatr. You ever seen this man's cake in Gen 3? Holy shit. Absolutely deserving of S tier. The legend himself. The so-called big fat fish. The water electric god. My favorite Pokemon and yours. Going right to S tier. I'm taking zero arguments, zero debate. Look at him. He's perfect. Like, Maryl's so cute. And Azumarill's just not. There's nothing else to say. How do you not love Wooper? He has no arms and he can ice punch. What does ice turn into? Water. You know what you are now? Wet. That's a wet ass Pokemon. It's coral, right? Like, how wet is coral? It's a rock. It's not wet. It's also not cute. You're going in D tier. Enjoy your time there. Octillery, designed after a tank, has that Schnoz. My man has a move named after him. Has Octazooka. How could Octazooka not get you at least to B tier? Mantine's probably B tier. Not the wettest, but definitely not like the least wet, you know? To me, I don't know why. When I look at Suicune, I always think it's an ice type, like more. It looks more like an ice type to me than a water type. It is a wet ass dog, but we already have a wet ass dog in S tier. All right, easiest ranking of my life. Boop. And then it evolves into this garbage. We want to evolve it because then you get to this. And this is a wet ass Pokemon right here. Swampert? Like, you have Quagsire, right? Mixing the mud in the water. But this man literally has a move called Muddy Water. He actually did it. He set the groundwork, Quagsire. Swampert ran with it. I've never seen a Pokemon that's a bigger Chad than Mega Swampert. He might not be the most wet, but he's certainly making people wet. Oh my god, you ever get hit by one of these man's attacks? You don't want his waterfall. Like, you have this little guy. Nice little cute lily pad. I don't know, weird looking lily pad thing. But then you get to one of the best Pokemon. Oh my god. He collects the water in his hat, drinks it up, dances around, and laughs in your face as he never dies. He's just healthy all the time. He's just so wet. Wingull is literally just a seagull. Have you been to the beach? Seagulls are kind of shit, dude. I'm trying to eat a french fry, boom, steals it. I'm trying to just walk, boom, shits on my head. Pelicans at least, like, swoop in the water, collect fish. Also, just like our boy Politoed up here, can bring rain just by existing. Pretty wet. He's got to get some respect for that. Oh, baby. Oh, my lord. What an easy ranking. Woo! You want to talk about a wet Pokemon, baby. Let me take you to Squirt City. This Pokemon, literally all it does is squirt bubbles out of its mouth all over people. It doesn't get much wetter. Carvana's just a piranha, like. Next. Move on. Shark. He's probably S. He's a shark torpedo. I think Mega is way worse, though. There's no way he's as, you know, hydrodynamically designed as he is in this form. Like, this is pure shark torpedo. Here's the thing about Whale Lord, though. He's deceptively light. Like, you would think if this thing went to make a splash, you know, it'd kind of be insane. Everybody'd be wet. The whole world would be covered. It's only like 800 pounds, though. Core fish. They tried to make Magikarp again, and it just didn't work. And this thing is like one of the hardest Pokemon to catch ever. It appears on like one square in one little area in the entire game. Why would you do that? For this piece of crap? You know why? Because then you get this. Oh my goodness. One of the fucking wettest Pokemon I've ever seen. Woo! If Milotic had the same smug look as Lapras, Milotic might be number one. Milotic might be the queen. Cast form, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not a water type. You're a fake water type. Got a fucking raindrop on your head and called yourself a water type? Get out of here. When I saw Spiel roll around in Pokemon Snap, my heart melted. So, you know, when stuff melts, it turns into water. So he made my heart wet. Just a clam with a pearl in it, and they named it Clam Pearl. Actually disgusting. Gorbis has to be F. Swab showed me this thing where Gorbis looks like a pink noodle worm, and I can't shake the image. How can I ever see anything again other than this when I look at Gorbis? This is just what it is. This is the fucking Pokemon. I think Kyogre's either A or S. What am I saying? Kyogre literally controls all the water. Kyogre has to be S. I'm out here about to debate putting Kyogre in A. This thing controls the entire ocean and like makes it rain whenever it wants to. Literal like god of the sea. I'm about to debate how wet Kyogre is. They really didn't miss with a water starter for like the first 4 generations. But then here we go again. Middle stage evolution. I think Prinplup is like one of the worst middle stage evolutions. If anything, we're drying off looking at Prinplup. I think Empoleon's A. We know he has a crunchy exterior because he's made out of steel. He's protecting those flippers. He's sealing in the wetness that he's gonna slap you with. Yeah, I mean, Beaver's jobs are to stop water. So he's kind of, you know, the opposite of a wet-ass Pokemon. He does stop the flow of wetness. I really like Gastrodon. He's a water slug. He's like fantastic. He has Storm Drain. He sucks up all the water. Doesn't let anybody else get wet. So that's a little, you know, selfish. But that's pretty fucking wet. At least Beats here. A literal washing machine. He'll wash these Pokemon. He'll wash whatever Pokemon he's fighting. He'll wash you. He'll wash your socks. Doesn't matter. Point is, whatever's going in, it's coming out wet. I don't think of Palkia as being like a wet Pokemon, you know? If you're controlling, you know, time and space with Dialga, when do you have time, you know, for a little swim? Like, I'm not saying you're not important, Palkia. I'm just saying you're dry. Arceus, the water type, artificially wet. This isn't an actual wet Pokemon. You have to jam a plate into him and then he becomes, you know, ooh, I'm gonna be a water type or whatever. As we've stated before on this stream, otters hold hands with each other so they don't float away. So they always have to be ranked high. Just look at that little clam. That little clam on his tummy. He's ready to use that to smash your head open if he needs to. Cute, but deadly. Duat? He's like in that weird phase of like he's trying to be cool. Like he walked up into school with his emo hair swoop and his Avenged Sevenfold t-shirt and nobody took him seriously. So he got put in C tier. I think if they made Samurott bipedal like the other two, instead of like making his sprite go on all 4s, we'd have a little bit of a different opinion on Samurott. I think he got shafted by being made a quadruped. Simipour, on the other hand, is one of my least favorite Pokemon and will be going into the F tier. Why didn't anyone tell Simipour that they needed a different hairstyle? What is his outfit? Your dress doesn't fit. Tail looks like broccoli. Tim Pole's face is just like, he's so worried. He's like, please, I'm okay. Trust me. You can catch me. I'll be fine. I promise I'll be wet. But we know. We know you're not that wet. And then we get to a Pokemon that has one of the best sprites of all time. Absolute power coming out of Swanna. Like, if you're coming in and you're hitting me with this, I'm already intimidated. You're doing one of these things, I'm about to be told off. Can we talk about this Pringles Man Jellicent, though? Oh, baby, he's inventing new flavors. The best, one of the best, if not the best mustache in the Pokemon game. The actual big fat fish. Like, I know we said before Sea King was a big fat fish. I know there's been certain people that have called Lantern a big fat fish. It's so boring, too. It's just a pink blob. Stay where you belong. You know who else is going to F tier? This My Little Pony ass looking Keldeo can fit its ass in F tier. Brokey's pretty wet. Jumps from lily pad to lily pad flawlessly. Just does frog-like things. Frogadier, way too smug for a Pokemon that's pretty much garbage. He literally throws water shurikens. That's his signature move. But here's the thing, and this is why Greninja is not gonna go to S tier. He changes his type depending on the move he uses. He's not always wet. Sometimes he's poison. Sometimes, you know, he's ice. What is this? My Barnacle. Big Barnacle. This one's slightly better. It's a bigger Barnacle. Sprout could go in C tier. Like, if I at least remember your name, you gotta go above this guy. Clawitzer's kind of badass, dude. Like, you're combining Claw and Howitzer, a cannon, an actual cannon on his arm. I don't know. I love this lobster. Volcanion, the only fire and water type that exists. Here's the thing. He turns the water into steam and then he shoots it out. So it's not really wet anymore. It's hot. I don't know. I think of Volcanion more as a fire type. His name is Volcanion. His name starts with volcano. Probably the worst water starter. And also, like, being the worst water evolution starter. Like, they're all so good. They're all in A or S. Oh, boy. Brionne. I think this might be the worst middle evolution. It needs to go to F tier. To me, Primarina looks more like a fairy type than a water type. But I do think Primarina is the best Pokemon in that line. There's people that think Primarina's like S tier. That's irresponsible wetness there. Wishy-Washy by himself, just a fish. He's not that wet, right? School form, though, that's a lot of Wishy-Washis put together. That's pretty wet. I despise these two Pokemon. Toxapex and Marini, or whatever the heck this thing is called. This thing is so ugly. Like, in the actual Pokemon lore, this thing eats Corsola. That's kind of fucked up. You're going in F tier. So Toxapex is just this Pokemon, but this hair just grew out. That's not wet. That's more like coral and shit. It's using this to trap more Corsolas. You don't eat other wet Pokemon. You let the wetness spread. You're going into fucking F tier. Get out of here, Toxapex. I don't like spiders, but I don't hate these. Also, their heads are inside of fucking bubbles. That's pretty wet. Araquanid has an ability that powers up its water moves. Its name also plays on it like being aqua and arachnid. So everything about this thing is wet. All right, are we putting Pikamuku in S tier just because of how well the text-to-speech read it? Like, if we go back to the tapes and we hear how the text-to-speech said this guy's name, it was pretty legendary.
Pikamuku goes in S tier for sure.
Wait, what the heck? The text-to-speech said Pikamuku correctly? How did he pronounce that so flawlessly? What the heck? The way the name was said was pretty wet. I only got one thing to say about Bruxish. What them lips do, though. We have another artificially wet Pokemon. It could go right next to the other artificially wet Pokemon. We're not here for fake wetness, but you guys both look kind of cool, so you could go above F tier. I love Sobble. My man's crying all the time. Just tears flowing out of his eyes, raining down from the heavens. It's pretty wet. We get to the classic water evolution mid-stage. I don't know what they were trying to do with this. The finger guns, pretty cool. Shoots water at people. That's pretty wet. His hands are just a little bit too big. They make me uncomfortable. Choodle just doesn't do anything that's wet. Like, Choodle to me is more of a rock type. The only reason Choodle's in D tier for me instead of F is because he has this big tooth and his name is Choodle. So that's pretty funny to me. I like that. He's another Pokemon that doesn't make me think of wet. I kind of get dry looking at him. I feel like he's just gonna coat me in rocks. It's not gonna work. Oh, baby. Do we have a wet one? Oh my lord. The easiest ranking of my entire life. Woo! You guys think I came unprepared, like I wasn't wearing this shirt for a reason? Look at this man. You're gonna tell me this man's not wet? Surfs on the water and comes out with a Pikachu? Well, Lapras is still the queen. We're not gonna put him at, we're not gonna put him at a Lapras, but he's right there. Dracovish has the most powerful water attack in all Pokemon. Pretty impressive. He's just so ugly. For having the strongest attack, he could go in B, but he's not going higher than that. We have Urshifu in his water stance. Has surging strikes. His water attack always critically hits you. He knows just how to throw that water around. Like, I felt if I gave Urshifu a hug, I would not get wet. He'd be fuzzy. He'd be warm. I just think for the control he has over water, he's got to at least be B tier. I think we did a pretty darn good job here. This is a definitive list of how wet the Pokemon are. If you need to know how wet your Pokemon are, you come to me. I have all the knowledge.